Hey guys, welcome again to the Maths Club. So if you're just joining us, so welcome, and this is the concluding video on modular arithmetic. Alright, so we're going to be looking at select questions from 2014 to 2013 that cover this particular concept. So let's go. So this question is from June 2014. It says, in what modulus is it true that 9 plus 8 is equal to 5? So let's go equal 5, right? So 9 plus 8 normally is 17, right? So what can I divide by 17 that will give me a remainder of 5? I've told you, if you watch one of the videos that we did on this particular thing, I said just subtract the remainder from what you want to divide, right? So 17 minus 5 is going to give you 12, right? So if I divide 17 by 12, that will give me 1 with a remainder of 5, right? Because 17 minus 12 is 5, right? So that means that the modulus that I'm going to be working, which is the divisor, right, is going to be 12. So that means that this particular operation happened in mode 12, right? So let's see if we're correct. So that will be option C. Great. So the next question is saying that an operation OX is defined on the set X, right? Set X contains 1, 3, 5, 6, right? And then the definition of the operation is M star n is equal to m plus n plus 2 in mode 7, right? They're telling us that m and n are always members of X. That means that whatever value of m and n that we're looking for or that we need is going to be within 1, 3, 5, 6, right? So whenever you're given a kind of question like this, you have to use the box method, right? I call it box method. I don't know the real name, right? So let's see. Whenever you want to solve this kind of question, you have to create a box, right? So I'm going to create this box. So 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So this is the symbol that we are operating on, right? Which is this symbol here, right? So I've also put a line here: 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So we have 4 guys here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah. So whatever number they give you, they gave us numbers 1, 3, 5, 6, right? So we're going to repeat our numbers horizontally: 1, 3, 5, 6, right? And vertically here: 1, 3, 5, 6, right? Now this operation is happening in mode 7, right? So let me just put the mode 7 here so that I don't forget, right? So there is one key principle that I want you to know, right? So any operation that you're doing like this, so A operation B is also the same thing as what? As B operation A, right? Just like when you say 2 plus 3, right? That's a commutative property. So 2 plus 3 is also the same as 3 plus 2. Yes or no? 2 plus 3 is 5, right? 3 plus 2 is also 5. So whenever you're dealing with this kind of thing, right, the order does not really matter, right? So you need to explicitly state it that the invigilation should note that what? A star B is equal to B star A, right? Now let's solve, right? So let's see. 1 star A, right? Like I said, we'll start this to get this value here. We need to operate on this value and this value because this is where they intersect, right? So the two values that will feed into that place is going to be this 1 and 1, right? So 1 and 1, wherever I do the operation, what is the definition of the operation? The definition of operation is what? M plus n plus 2, right? So the definition of the operation, let me put, so M star n, right, is equal to m plus n plus 2. So let's go. Right, let's go. So for me to be able to solve this, I need to reference this value. So that would be 1 plus 1, right, plus 2. 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 plus 2 is 4, right? So this value is not up to the mode. So this would be the representation. So 4 in mode 7, right? Now the next value is 1 and 3, right? So that will be 1 plus 3, right, plus what? Plus 2, right? Plus 2. 1 plus 3 is 4. 4 plus 2 is 6. 6 is not up to this mode 7, so I'll just write the value there. So that will be 6 mode 7, right? Because if I divide 6 by 7, I will have 0 with a remainder of 6. So I don't bother myself with those type of things. So I'll write my value here, 6. And we said something that A star B is equal to B star A. So that means that 1 star 3 is also equal to 3 star 1. Yes or no? So this is also the same value for 3 star 1 because this is the commutative property, right? Commutative means that whatever you do, whenever you have an expression like this where you say A star B is equal to B star A, that means that it's commutative, right? So the next thing that we're going to be doing is 1 star 5, right? That will give us next value. So 1 star 5, that will be 1 plus 5 plus 2, right? 1 plus 5 plus 2 is going to give me 6 plus 2, which is what? 8. Now this 8, is it up to this mode that I'm working in? Yes. So I have to divide. I have to divide it by the mode, right? So 8 divided by 7, right? That will be 1, right? With the remainder of what? Remainder of 1, right? So this remainder, the remainder here is a result in mode 7, and that will be 1 mode 7. So if any of this is strange, if I want to look at our playlists under modular arithmetic, right? So 1 star 5 is also the same thing as what? 5 star 1, right? So the value that we got here was 1. So let me write it there. 1. So 1 star 6. Let's see, that is the next question. 1 star 6. For me to be able to get this value here, I have to do this guy together. So 1 star 6. So this would be 1 plus 6 plus 2. Right, 1 plus 6 is 7, 7 plus 2 is 9. So 9 is greater than our mode, so I'll divide it by 7, right? And that'll be what? 1 with the remainder of what? The remainder of 2, right? So we'll put the remainder, right? And that'll give us 2 mode 7, right? So this same value, 1 star 6, so the same thing as what? 6 star 1, right? So I know a question can be asked. You might ask the question that why is it that we did not divide like all these 4 and 6 by 7? We actually did, right? Just that because the value is. So let's see. Let's do that. Let's do that so that we will see it. So when we say 1 plus 1 plus 2, that will give us 4, right? So if I divide 4 by 7, right, this will give me what? This will give me 0, right? With the remainder of what? The remainder of 4, right? And then my answer here will be what? 4 mode 7, right? So even though I didn't express it this way, right, I always just focus on when the value is equal to or greater than, but for the sake of clarity, right, always leave it like this, right? So I'm going to speed the value. So next table you'll see, I'll fill up the tables. So try it out by yourself and fill up the tables. Welcome back, right? So I've been able to fill up all of our tables, right? I encourage you to actually try it out by yourself. So let me take an example, right? So this is 0. I got 0 here. How did I get 0? By the time you add, so this 0 is gotten from the transformation of these 2, right? By the time I add 6 plus 6, that will give me 12. 12 plus 2 is 14, right? So if I divide 14 by the mode, which is 7, right? That will give me what? 2 with the remainder of what? Of 0. And because it's the remainder I'm looking out for, that's why we have 0 here, right? So try this multiplication by yourself, or this operation, right? Since it's not even multiplication, this operation by yourself, and you should be able to reproduce the same table. Now the question also said that using the table that we created, find the truth set of 3 operator n is equal to 3. So what is that operator that when I use with 3 will give me 3, right? I remember it's a truth set. It's a truth set. So a truth set, a set is going to be defined by a curly brackets, right? Like we said in the previous video, right? So what operator will I use on 3 that will give me 3? So 3 by 1 is 6, 3 by 3 is 1, 3 by 5 is 3, right? So only 3 by 5 would give me 3 on this operator, right? So what will I say? So for the question, right, I would say n is equal to my sets, right? We have to define by sets, right? And the only value that gave me that is what? Is 5, right? It's 5. So if there were multiple values, I would say comma, maybe 7, comma this, but it's only 5 that's giving me that particular response, right? After I did the operator. So my answer here is 5. So let's say the next question is saying that what? find the truth sets where n by n is equal to 3. So what multiplies itself and gives a value of 3? Let's look at our table. So 1 by 1 gave me 4, 3 by 3 gave me 1, 5 by 5 gave me 5, 6 by 6 gave me 0. Right? So you can see that there is nothing that actually gave me 3. Right? So this is an empty set. Right? So that means that at the end of the day, when we actually did this thing, our n is an empty set. Right? So our n, we did not find any value. Right? So our n will be an empty set. So let's see if our answer is actually correct. Right, so these are our completed table. So you can see our n is 5 and our n is an empty set. If we compare what we have here with what we actually got, to see that it is actually the same thing. Right, so let's continue to the next question. So this question 2 says the operation triangle is defined on the set T, which is equal to 2, 3, 5, 7 by x operator y is equal to x plus y plus xy in mode 8. Right, so let's go. So our T, right, is equal to 2, 3, 5, 7, right? And our x triangle y is what? X plus y plus xy in mode 8. So as we said before in the previous question, we are going to create our table, right? So our table will contain the number of values that we have. So we have 4 values. So this, at this point, to put the operator here, right? So we need 4 values, 1, 2, 3, and this last one will be the 4th one. So let's spread over the values. This is 2, this is 3, this is 5, this is 7, right? This is 2, this is 3, this is 5, this is 7. So there was something I did not mention. We said something that by the time I reach the point where I have to do 3 by 1, I don't need to redo it again. I said A operator B is equal to B operator A, right? So when you reach this place here where it says 3 by 1, I don't need to redo it again. I don't need to come here and see what is my value for 1 operator 3. My value for 1 operator 3 will be the same value for 3 operator 1. So just take note of that, right? Just take note of that. So to actually answer this question, 2 operator 2, right? Let's do that. So 2 operator 2, right? So this will be, if I'm using this skeleton, so that will be 2 plus 2 plus 2 times 2, right? So 2 plus 2, 2 plus 2 plus 2 times 2 is 4. Always ensure that you break down anything before you add, right? 2 plus 2 is 4, 4 plus 4 is 8, right? If I'm working in mode 8, so if I divide this by 8, this will give me 1 with the remainder of 0, right? So so this value at the end of the day is 0 mode 8, right? So I'm putting 0 here, right? So 2 by 3, so this is 2 plus 2, 2 plus 3 plus 2 times 3, right? Because this is what defines what we are doing. So 2 plus 3 plus 2 times 3 is 6, right? 2 plus 3 is 5, 5 plus 6 is 11, right? So if I divide 11 by 8, I'll have what? 1 with the remainder of 3, right? So my answer is actually the remainder mode 8, right? So this is putting 3, right? And because 2 by 3 is same thing as 3 by 2, right? So where I have 3 by 2, I will also put what? I also put 3, right? Now let's continue. So the next value is actually 2 by 5. So 2 by 5, this is 2 plus 5 plus 2 times 5, right? So this is 2 plus 5 plus 2 times 5 is 10. So by the time I add all of this will give me 17. So 17 divided by 8, right? This is 2 with a remainder of 1, right? So that means the value here is actually 1 mode 8, right? So we replace, so where I have 2 by 5, I'll put in 1. Wherever I have 5 by 2 also, I'll put in 1, because it said 2 operator 5, it seems like saying 5 operator 2. Now the next value, right? I'm still on this line, no, don't lose track of the line that you are on, right? So 2 operator 7, right? Let's solve that. So this will be 2 plus 7 plus 2 times 7. So this will be 2 plus 7 plus 2 times 7 is 14. By the time I add all of this together, 2 plus 7 is 9. 9 plus 14 is 23. So if I divide 23 by 8, right, I'm going to have what? 2, right? Because 8 times 2 is 16. What will be the remainder? So the remainder will be what? 23 minus 16 is actually 7, right? So the answer here is what? 7 mod 8, right? If it's a theory question, please show all of your workings, everything, right? Show your workings. So 2 operator 7 are replaced with this value, which is 7, right? And also 7 operator 2 are replaced with what? With 7, right? Because it's a commutative property, like I said before, right? So I'll just do 1 or 2 more, and I guess that we already know the pattern, right? So 3 operator 3, right? So this will be 3 plus 3 plus 3 times 3. So 3 plus 3 times 3 is 9, right? 3 plus 3 is 6. 6 plus 9 is 15. So if I divide 15 by 8, this will give me what? 1 with the remainder of 7. So my answer is actually 7 mod. So let me just move it a little bit so that we can have a bit of space. So 7 mod what? Mod 8, right? So I'll come and I'll place 3 by 3 with 7, right? So 3 by 3 with 7. So I'm going to stop the calculation so you can continue solving. Ensure that you show all of your workings when you're actually doing this question. So after I finished solving mine, right, this was how my table was looking like. So if you got the same thing, well done. So let's go to the extrapolation part, right? So it told us that we should construct the modular table, which is what we've done, right? So it says we should use the table to find 2 triangle 5 triangle 7. So let's see. Let's solve that. 2 triangle 5 triangle 7. So let's solve what is in the brackets first, right? So if I do 5 and 7, let me trace it on my table. So where 5 and 7 intersects, the value there is what? Is 7, right? So because the value there is 7, I'm going to replace this 5 operator 7 with 7, right? So now let's look at the table and see what 2 operator 7 is going to give me. So this is 2 and this operator 7, right? So you can see the intersection of 2 of them is actually what? The value 7. So that means at the end of the day, when I resolve all of this, right, I'm going to get what? 7, right? So this is the answer here. So therefore 2 operator 5 operator 7 is equal to 7, right? So that is it. So the next question is saying 2 operator n is equal to 5 operator 7. Of course, we are trying to find what n is. Let me write it here. So we have 2 operator n is equal to 5 operator 7, right? So I'm going to resolve the right hand side first. So 2 operator 7 is what? If I come to this guy here and I see it, so 5 operator 7, where 5 and 7 intersect, is giving me 7, right? So I'm going to replace my right hand side with 7, right? So 2 operator n is equal to 7. So what will I operate with 2 that will give me 7 from my table? So I'll go to my table, right? So this is 2 operator 2 give me 0, 2 operator 3. So it is when I say 2 operator 7 that actually gets 7. So by means of coincidence, right? So I could say by comparison, we found our n to be equal to 7, right? And that's actually it. So if we look at our answer, right, we see that we have 7 here and we have our n to be 7. So that's basically it. So for this particular question, that we've actually treated this question in one of the previous videos, the previous video before this one, right? So you can reference it at the top, right? So you can check the pop that will appear at the top, right? So when we did this, we were able to resolve this guy, right? And we're able to find the truth set for m. So you can refer to that video to see the solution for this. Now, and this is the answer, right? So you can actually refer to the video and see how we actually work this out. Now, let's look at this question. So we have 3x is equal to 4 mod 5, right? Find the least value of x. So what we know from this is that whatever this thing is, right, is going to be a value that will multiply 3, right? So how can we be able to solve this? Let me move this up. So we have 3x is equal to 4 mod 5. Mod 5, right? Whenever you see find the list, I said it before in one of our previous videos, whenever you see find the list, you have to be very careful, right? So we're going to look at all the multiples of 3, right? And look at the multiple of 3 that by the time I divide by 5, right, which is the mode, it will give me a remainder of 4. So what's the first multiple of 3? First multiple of 3 is 3, right? If I divide 3 by 5, right, this is 0 to the remainder of 3. Is this what I'm looking for? No. The next multiple of 3 is 6, right? So 6 divided by 5, this is 1 to the remainder of 1. Is this what I'm looking for? No. The next multiple of 3 is 9. So 9 divided by 5, this is what? 1 to the remainder of 4. Does it give me this value? Yes. The remainder is the same. So I know that 9 is what gave me this value, right? But remember, what we had there was 3x. So therefore, our 3x is equal to 9. So if I divide both sides by 3, right? 3 will cancel 3. 3 will cancel 9. This will give me 3. So therefore, my x is equal to 3, right? Don't be carried away and say your x is equal to 9, no, right? It is 9, right? All of this is replaced by 9, right? It is 9 that will give me 4 in mod 5. So I have to do an extrapolation and find out what my value of x is, right? So if you're not careful, you will actually pick an option 9. So the answer here is actually option C, right? Does that make sense? So let's look at this question. We've actually solved this particular question in one of the previous videos that we did, right? But I'll solve it again. So 7 plus y is equal to 4 mod 8, right? Find the least value of y, and y is between 10 and 30, right? So when you see this, right, it's saying that y is between 10 and 30, and because it's less than or equal to, that means 10 and 32 are part of the equation. So let's see. Let's actually solve this question. So we have 7 plus y is equal to 4 mod 8, right? 7 plus y is equal to 4 mod 8. And we're told that y is between 10 and what? And 30, right? So let's, like we did in that previous video, we have to resolve this guy. So we'll call it like terms. Y will be equal to 4 minus 7, right? In mod 8, right? So 4 minus 7 is actually minus 3, right? In mod 8. So how can I express minus 3 as a positive number in mod 8? I said something in that previous video. I said if we are dealing with mod 8, so whatever I'm doing must be in mod 8. So if I say minus 8 plus 5, right? Minus 8 plus 5, would that give me minus 3? Yes, it will give minus. So I'll replace minus 3 with minus 8 plus 5. So if any of this is strange, I would advise that you actually watch that video, right? So minus 8 plus 5 mod 8, right? What I'm interested in is this plus 5, which is the remainder, right? But we said something that y is between 10 and 30. Is 5 between 10 and 30? 5 is not between 10 and 30, so I have to look for the next multiple of 8, right? So that will be minus 16, right? Plus, what can I add to minus 16 that will give me minus 3, right? I have to add what? Plus 13. You are owing somebody 16 naira, right? You want to owe the person only 3 naira. That means you have to pay the person 13 naira. Right, so by the time you use 13 naira to offset a loan of 16 naira, you'll be owing the person 3 naira. So because this did not go, right, I'll put an X here. So y will be equal to what? Minus 16 plus 13, right? Mod 8. Yeah, my value for y will be the remainder, right? So my y will be the remainder, which is 13 mod 8, right? Mod 8. Is this y? Is it within 10 and 30? Yes, within 30. So that means that my y in this particular question is actually equal to 13, right? And that's option B, right? Great. So let's look at this question. So it says find the least value of x which satisfies the equation 4x is equal to 7 mod 9, right? So I actually advise that you actually pause the video and try it out yourself. Welcome back. So we said 4x is equal to 7 mod 9, right? So like the previous example about that 3, right? We're going to look for multiples of 4 that by the time I divide by, I know this is the looking for the least value, right? So I have to do it manually. That by the time I divide by 9 will give me a remainder of 7, right? So the first multiple of 4, if I divide this by 9, this will give me a remainder of 4. This is not what I'm looking for. The next multiple is what? 8. By the time I divide it by 9, this will give me a remainder of what? Of 8. You can try that out. The next multiple of 4 is 12. If I divide this by 9, this will give me a remainder of what? A remainder of 3. This is what I'm looking for. The next multiple of 4 is 16, right? If I divide this by 9, this will give me a remainder of what? Of 7. And this is actually what I'm looking for. So this is the least value, right, that will give me 7 mod 9, right? So this place here, I'll replace it with my what? It's my 16. So therefore 4x is equal to 16, and if I divide both sides by 4, right, my x is equal to what? Is equal to 4, right? Remember again, this is actually a trick question. You might see 16 and just be carried away, and ensure that you resolve it, right, and you get your right value of x. So let's see. So our value is option D, right? Great. So this particular question, we've actually solved it before, right? So I will encourage you to actually try it out yourself, right? So multiply these two, right, divided by 7, the remainder is going to be your what? Your value, and that is option B, which is 3. So with that, we've actually come to all of the WAEC questions on modular arithmetic, right? So some of them I solved, some of them we have solved in the previous videos. Even this last one we solved in the previous video, so I didn't want to really redo the same thing because of the length of the video, right? So practice makes perfection, right? So keep on practicing till you actually get it. We'll be moving to the next topic, which would be fractions, right? Fractions. See you guys there.